what's crazy to me is how many of them refuse to maybe take on a few other bits of the role in order to get to the next level. Like they've all been these skill guys their whole life who have all these skills and they can move fast, and most of them are big now too. I mean, I know little guys get chances, but I mean, there's these 6'1", 6'2" guys are moving around like that. So it's like, okay, you can't be in a top six role. Learn how to penalty kill, be willing to get in front of shots, be a little bit more physical, maybe get a little bit more yappy and be willing to shed your mitts. And to be that guy nowadays, if you fight like 7 times a year, they're like, oh shit, this guy's willing to step up for his teammates. So it's not even that hard of a task. Where, I mean, John, you could attest to this. Before, if you wanted to do it, you had to be like Dorsett.
Yeah.
That guy in the American League was probably $180 and was scrapping heavies every night. And he was starting to chip in offensively. In order to get to the next level, he had to add killing penalties, having a chip on his shoulder, being in everyone's face, and eating punches from heavies for 30 games a year.
Yeah.
And he made it.
There's a few guys who did that.
Prusty
did that for a while.
Prusty was a lightweight, and he had to fight all the big boys.
That's the thing I say to all these kids. I'm like, the guys I played with on the third and fourth line, in juniors, they put up 50 goals. They were the best players on their junior team. And they realized they weren't going to make it in the first line, and they just transitioned their game. Then you go to the AHL. Those guys scored 50 goals in juniors. They just don't want to do it. They don't have it in them. They don't have the guts or the drive to be like, I'm going to jump in front of that.
And we are also getting to that level of, I don't want to say entitlement, but it's a lot softer nowadays than it used to be.
Yeah.
So even in the American League, this would have been hammered into them, where they would be like, hey, and they would always, I find even still the good teams is they draft to what they're going to mold that player into. A majority of these teams now, they kind of just throw it at the wall and hopefully it sticks. Whereas if you gotta be able to see something and say, hey, I think this guy is going to be a good third line center. He does it well enough, and he can add enough offense at that level. He's got a good brain on him. We can, I think we got a third line center here. Well, whereas I don't. Yeah. So it's a lot of teams throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. But that's also kind of the way the game's going a little bit too now, where these guys, even when they get to the American League, most of them just go right to the NHL now and get power play and all this shit. When we were playing in the American League, even if you were a skill guy, when you got to the A, you'd be on like the third or fourth line and you wouldn't get special teams. It didn't matter. You had to earn that ice time. And I think that a nice mixture of both is a good little concoction.
Well, when I was in the A, when I got sent down at the end of my career, it was frustrating to see these guys with these unbelievable hands. They were just all-world talents, first-round guys. I'm just like, man, you could be so good if you just only knew what you had to do. And I would sit them down like, listen, if you want to play in the NHL, you got to do this, this, and this. And they couldn't do it. They would not lower themselves to that point. They said, no, if I go, I'm going to be on the power play. I'm going to be doing this first line. They couldn't get it through their head to be like, no, and now they're in the A. There was a few guys in St. John's who were like that.
The reason I said accountability too is it's very easy, and you see it quite often, is it's the coach. Oh, it's the coach. Oh, it's the coach. And it's just like, okay, well, you're on your fourth team. Like, I don't know. Is it the coach?